Welcome back, everybody, to the Showdown live on WICR. Again, today, Wednesday, February 27th, 2019. Again, I thank you for joining me, whether you're watching live or you're watching this back on replay. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day and spending it with me. Again, near the end of February right now, it's been going by pretty quick, not going to lie. Spring break just about 2.5 weeks away. Thank goodness. This is like that time in the semester, and you fellow college students out there, you'll know about this. It's that time in the semester, I feel like, where you could be having midterms. That could be happening. I've been having tests. I don't know if they're technically qualify as midterm. Actually, yeah, next week I do. Should probably get on that. Anyways, I feel like most of the professors are now at the point where they're trying to load up on assignment, try to get as much done before spring break as possible. Because let's be honest, after spring break, you're really just kind of in this coaster mode until May. If we look at a calendar, spring break is right in the middle of March. It's the week from the 18th to the 22nd, like that Monday to Friday. Obviously, we have the weekends off as well. Then we come back the 25th, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 weeks, and then finals start. And you have to also have to factor a couple of days in there for Easter as well. So it's more like 5 weeks, 5.5, 5 weeks left of the semester once you get back. And obviously that will go by pretty quick. But I must say, I am one who is absolutely looking forward to spring break, some time off, and also obviously summer as well. Though I don't really know what I will be doing this summer, but it's only February 27th, so I definitely have plenty of time to figure that out. Now, with that said, and speaking about the future, and speaking about March and April, I'll give a nice little shout out to my boy Colt, young Colt, joining the Instagram live. Appreciate it, brother. So the NFL draft, the combine is coming up, and obviously last year we had these 5 quarterback, Darnold, Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. So 5, 6 guys who were legitimate, first round quarterbacks. They all, 5 got taken in the first round, and we kind of have like a void this year. So there's going to be a vacuum of talk about Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins because it is the quarterback position, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But with the combine coming up, I thought it would be appropriate to almost just offer my initial sort of unfiltered, unedited, I guess you could say, thoughts on these 2 quarterbacks without doing any research or really just from what I saw from them this past collegiate season. And I want to start with Kyler Murray. Now, we could talk about everything about his decision to play football. I offered my take on that a couple of weeks ago, that it didn't surprise me really at all. When he made that decision to play his college season, you kind of knew, at least I thought, you kind of knew that's not where his heart was. So I didn't really, it wasn't a surprise to me, and whatever, good for him. It is what it is. Can't really do anything about it. I don't think it hurts baseball in the least way. Whatever. But in terms of football, everybody's making a big deal out of his height, out of his size, out of his hand size. And, I think that those are obviously, valid things to bring up. But I think part of why they're bringing it up is because if you look at his game from his past season, is what else can you really knock him for? I mean, maybe the accuracy a little bit, but he can move. I mean, he can run like the freaking wind. He's as fast as any other quarterback, coming out of college, I think, is that we've ever seen. I think he has a strong enough arm. I mean, I saw some of the throws in that Alabama game. He was able to throw it down the field. I think additionally to that, we know he can throw the football. Obviously, the knocks that may come on him will be that he played in the Big 12, and it's not a it's a friendly conference for offense. It's not really a dominant, a dominant conference in terms of defensive play of the ball. So he'll get knocked for that, and that'll be, and I think that's more, to be honest, I don't really care that much about his height. I mean, I really don't think it's that big of an issue because there's like, oh, the line, he's not going to be able to see over the line. He played with a bunch of, guys who could be in the NFL at Oklahoma. He was playing, behind linemen who are going to be in the NFL, and he did pretty okay against them. Plus, how many snaps is he really going to be taking under center? Not that much. He will not be taking that many snaps from under center. He's going to be back in the shotgun, the pistol formation, because they want to give him the space where he can move and be dynamic, because that's the type of player that he is. So I think with that, so I don't really care that much about his height. Again, and I'm saying this as, just sort of my opinions. I'm not tying this back to the Giants in any way. I will offer, in the coming weeks as the draft gets closer, what I think the Giants should do in terms of that. But if I'm just talking about these quarterbacks, independent from my team, the team that I like, the height doesn't bother me that much. They're saying he's starting to put on a little bit of weight that could limit his mobility. He's trying to get thicker. He's trying to get stronger. Absolutely. I think the height doesn't really matter to me as much. I think there's a lot of things going on in the league now that he's going to be protected, in my opinion. And, he's going to be protected. And I think that he'll do a pretty good job with that in terms of risking, not getting hurt. When I think about risking injury, I think of it more of him as a runner, just runners in space. I mean, you saw Carson Wentz, he got hurt running the football. I think that would worry me more than just like taking a sack and taking a hard hit, in the backfield where he's just sitting in the pocket. But obviously his athleticism is off the charts. It's absolutely off the charts. And he can throw the football. He can run the football. He's a dynamic player. He can sling it. I think he's definitely a first round pick. I'd be surprised if he fell out of the first round. But the thing is, at the back end of the first round, how many of the, not that many teams are looking for quarterbacks, and it's not a quarterback heavy draft. So I think, unless teams trade up to get him, he may fall out of the top 10. I would not be surprised if that indeed happened. And another reason why that may happen, as we transition now to talking about Dwayne Haskins, the other top quarterback prospect in this class. Now, Haskins is more of a pure pocket passer, more of a thrower. We saw him do that at Ohio State. And if I'm going to be honest, I like both of these quarterbacks, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a decision on who I like more here tonight. But the thing with Haskins is he can throw the football, he can light it up, and he did it in a conference with better defenses than Kyler Murray in the Big Ten. We saw what he did to that Michigan defense. We saw what he did to several other defenses in the Big Ten. The thing that worries me about Haskins, and I can make the same case for Murray, is just the sample size. I mean, they've only started one full season at the collegiate level, and now they're making that big jump, and it's such a big jump, as we know, from the NFL, from college football to the NFL. Yes, with the right coach, the right situation, if you're running more college style of plays, it could be a smoother transition, but the transition can be smooth, but the jump is big, if that makes sense to you guys. But Haskins, as I said, strong arm, pretty accurate with the football. Excuse me. Got a little cough going on there. Haskins is he can throw the ball. I like him in the pocket. I think he's a tough kid. He can run it if you need him to. As I said, he can run it if you needed to. He's strong. Again, he's not that tall either. I think he's only about 6'1", 6'2". He's not a tall guy. He's a thick guy. And he's got a really strong arm, and that's going to help him out. I think his decision to come out was a wise decision. I could have seen him going either way, wanting to get another year under his belt, but you also saw the fact that Tua Tagovailoa, Jake Fromm, the guy out of Oregon, there's a couple of different guys in next year's quarterback class that could, that could hurt his stock. Like his stock will never be higher because it's a slim class of quarterbacks. And he's going to be able to cash in. And I think if you're a team looking for a quarterback, I don't think this could be a safe pick. I don't know. The thing that worries me with Haskins more than Murray is that experience. Again, I don't know why. I think it's because I think Murray's athleticism could benefit him more to a smoother he would be able to catch a lot of defenses off guard, in my opinion. But with Haskins as a more truer pocket passer, the book is kind of already written on some of those guys. Probably a little bit easier for defenses to prepare for a guy like Haskins compared to Murray. So that's where the experience factor kind of would give me hesitation a little bit. He's a guy I could see almost like a situation. I'm saying, again, let me clarify because I know that some people will get on me if I don't clarify this. I'm not saying talent-wise or ability-wise he is like this person, but I think Haskins could benefit from a situation similar to Patrick Mahomes, meaning he sits for his first year under a veteran quarterback, learns the tricks of the trade, maybe gets some reps here and there, and then goes at it in year two after kind of seeing things from behind the scenes, learning, growing, developing on the sides. I mean, but again, that's also what a lot of people thought was going to happen with the quarterbacks from last year's draft. And, we saw Baker sit out for a couple of games and he was starting. Darnold was starting all the way. Allen was starting almost right away. Josh Allen was starting. He got nicked up. Rosen got nicked up. Lamar Jackson waited a while and then he thrived. So there are two different schools of thought within that. And sometimes it works. I mean, you saw, Darnold, he was out there, he learned, but he also got nicked up a little bit. Same thing with same thing with Rosen. He got beat up a lot. His offensive line sucked. That was probably had a big thing to do with it. So there's a couple of different schools of thought on that, but I would not be surprised if that's the route that teams will take. But it also depends on who winds up taking him, because if you need a quarterback now, like if you're Jacksonville at 7 and you can get one of these guys, they're probably, it's probably an even matchup with Bortles for a job like that. Same thing with a couple of other teams as well. But that's just kind of my quick analysis on what's going on there with the two quarterbacks. Again, as we progress forward, we'll get more and more into the draft coverage. Probably bring on my man Dalton Feely. We did a podcast last year. Maybe we'll bring him on the live show this year to talk things all NFL draft. So should be exciting. Should be a very interesting combine. Should be interesting to see what Kyler Murray stands in at, his hand size, all this and that. But if you're like some people, you couldn't care less. But anyways, we will step aside when we come back, talk a little bit of baseball, and I'll tell you why the 2019 Yankees will be better than the 2018 Yankees. Back after this.